so you're going to get Well, perfect time, just as everyone got up and wandered away from the table. I would like to introduce to us today a gentleman by the name of Shane Ridley, who's turned to me this morning and said, maybe we should do a question and answer thing, and well, you know me, I'd just love to do that. So, Shane, if you'd like to join me up here, we might just have a chat about everything that you've done, or are planning to do. I've even gotten us chairs.
They're tall chairs.
They're tall chairs. That's comfortable. Yes, so there's timber at the bottom. That's to put your feet on so that they don't hang and not hit the ground. Okay.
So I like competitions.
The interesting thing, you know how sometimes you stumble across something that just it turns out to be a little piece of gold. Shane works in the Canvas co-working space up on Ruthven Street, where I spend a little bit of time as well. And one day I'm wandering through the place and thinking, I need someone to interview for this week, for my show. So I walked into his office. We'd never met before. I said, do you want to come on my show? He said, yes. By the time the interview was over and the chat we had before and after, this guy has done some amazing things. And I thought it would be something that that we would be interested in hearing about. Okay, so let's start with your first business. Well, when I say that, your first successful business, because you have had several, haven't you?
Yeah, so 6 or 7. Not all been successful.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of the failures really quick.
Well, my biggest failure was a company called Working Holidays Down Under. So we decided in about 2002, when the interwebs were still very young, that we knew more than Seek, so we were going to take them on. So everyone's familiar with Seek.com. You know, yes. I don't know, got a market capitalisation of about 80 billion now. We started with about 100 grand and thought we can take them on. And this was at a time when content management systems for websites didn't exist, so you had to actually code your website from start to finish. So I went up to Harvey Norman and bought a box, used to buy software in a box, Dreamweaver or something, so Tony, you'd know that. Plugged it in, decided to build a website, and
still used today.
Still used today, not the version I was using.
No. And we'll teach it in school.
Yeah. Well, we've all seen the website that, you know, your neighbour's nephew's cousin makes because they're good at internet. Well, our website, you know, those websites look good compared to what I managed to put together. So we went and hired a company who had their own content management system out of Bundaberg to build the...
You hired someone to do computers out of Bundaberg in 2002?
Yeah, he did.
Right. Okay.
Well, these guys, we weren't programmers, still not a programmer. So I've worked for a fair bit of my career in computers or technology, but not a programmer, not really into the detail, not good at detail. And these guys had this content management system, which meant that we could, once the site was built, we could actually go and just change the pages. We could do everything you do in WordPress today, but you know, this was pre-Google, pre-Facebook. So anyway, the long story short, over about 3 years, we spent about $40 million. We generated about $30,000 in revenue. And still to this day, I own the domain. Still to this day, I harbour ambitions of turning it into something, because I think we had a good idea. We niched down Seek to work primarily with backpackers working in agriculture, but we're a bit ahead of our time. And still to this day, I convinced my wife that I didn't lose that money, it's just invested. And
in education?
Well, no, in the business. Right. And at some point, it will realise that investment. So,
just long term.
Just long term. It could be a while. Whenever I mention it in the house now, I get an elbow to the ribs.
Okay, so that one didn't work.
No.
Okay. You moved on to something that sort of followed a similar line. Is that right?
So I've had most of my background. So my parents were potato pickers, so we travelled a fair bit. Went to 15 schools in 12 years. So I have a real affiliation with farming. Grew up on a farm. I was standing over a potato bucket pretty much from the age I could stand. Still to this day, I love nothing more than getting into a paddock with fresh turned soil and smelling the moisture, evaporating from the earth. which makes all the broadacre guys I've worked with just cringe at the thought, the 0-2 guys. But so most of my career has kind of, whatever I've done always has an agricultural bent in it. So working holidays was all about, you know, finding labour for that market. I had a labour hire and recruitment company which worked in that, so we were one of the biggest in Australia in that, and employed about 10,000 people a year. And then now we have O-Train, which was training online, and we work with a whole raft of different organisations and sectors, but about 25-30% of our client base is still agriculture and horticulture.
Let's just come back to that really quick step you took over employing 10,000 people a year.
Yeah.
And you did that based here in Toowoomba?
Yeah, so we've been based in Toowoomba since 2001. Started in Lockyer, took a detour to Dubbo, centre of the universe, Dubbo, and then came back to Toowoomba. So we have clients as far north as Tully and as far south as Hobart. And we work primarily in corporate agriculture. So if you think about Australia's biggest mango grower, table grape grower, watermelon grower, tomato grower, zucchini grower, they're all our clients. So, you know,
So you went and found the people during the picking season,
correct.
To go and pick their fields.
Correct. So all the guys you see on Today Tonight, you know, the dodgy Asian guy with his busload of backpackers, putting 100 people in a 3-bedroom house, charging them $1 million a week to stay there, not paying them any money. That's exactly what we did, except legitimately.
So you paid them money?
So we paid them money. We didn't put them in houses.
No more than 4 or 5 sort of bedrooms.
We kind of tried to, you know, everyone got their own bed. Really basic, fundamental human rights. Which made it quite a difficult business because, you know, we were competing with people, you know, I think our charge out rate was like $26, $27 an hour, and our competitors were charging 18 or 19. Now, if you're only hiring 1 or 2 people, that's not a big spread, but, you know, a lot of our clients were hiring 200 or 300 people off us at a time. So that's a massive spread, you know, across the hourly rate. And then those guys are doing 50, 60 hours a week across the season. So it was a huge amount.
How long were you doing? Were you in this business?
So we did that business for about 10 years. It sounds about right. During that time, obviously we employed a lot of people. It was a high turnover business with backpackers. When you write stuff on a whiteboard, it looks perfect, but what we're going to do is bring backpackers in Melbourne, and then we'll go up to Mildura and we'll do the grape season, and that'll finish just in time to move them to, you know, New South Wales somewhere, and eventually they'll do 2 years with us and they'll fly out of Cairns and everyone's lived happily, but it never quite worked that way. You know, people would want to go north when we needed them to go south, or, you know, crops would cross or floods would come, and so it was high turnover. And what was the question?
The question was, how long were you in it?
Yes.
And we moved on to the fact that you're moving hundreds of people around the country. And I guess the next question is, after 10 years of managing such what sounds to me like a massive concern, how were you feeling?
We were tired. You know, it was hard work. We were people selling people to people. We had 2/3 of our client go broke in the 10 years that we were there. So, you know, you think about those large corporates I was talking about. Timber Corp is probably the biggest one that everybody knows. We're a big client of ours. We'd done 10 years, and we decided to take some time off. So my wife and I went on I had our 2 kids, took a 4-month sabbatical, and went travelling around the world. And it was great. We responded to 2 emails in 4 months, which was fantastic. But while we're away, we determined that actually we're a bit over this. We used to, I still remember now, we used to go, and most of the people in the room are in small business, so you kind of get this. But we'd go to the coast and we'd be sitting by the pool at the Marriott or somewhere nice, and the kids would be swimming, and we'd be sitting there with laptops doing payroll or taking calls or trying to organise stuff. And we used to look at each other and say, how lucky are we? Like, you know, to be able to come here and do this and bring our business with us. You know, isn't that great? We're not locked in an office. How good is that? And then when we went travelling, we actually seen what everyone else does. You know, like, and then we started saying, how great is this? Like, you know, when you clock off, you don't have to worry about phone calls. And, you know, I was filling shifts in the car on the way to the wedding. You know, like, should have been worrying about other things, I'm taking calls. So We pretty much decided while travelling that when we came back, that was it, it was all over. We were going to do something else.
What'd you come back to?
So we came back to a business that had pretty much imploded, completely messed up the whole succession strategy. We underestimated the relationship that my wife and I have always worked together, had with our clients. And whilst we had a good team in place and they did all the right things, when we were dealing with our clients, it was very personal. We went to their kids' weddings, we stayed at their houses. It was, and again, small business, you guys know, like, the way we think about business and enact with our clients is different to our staff. No matter how good our staff are, when you're just clocking on and off, it's a different feeling to when you own it in your heart. So while we're away, and in the lead up to it, and we should have realised it in the lead up to it, we didn't, we became like everybody else. Our staff servicing our clients were like everybody else. They were marginally better because we had better staff and we had better culture, and we certainly weren't dodgy like the ones on today tonight, but we weren't that much better. So our margins are 3 or 4 times higher. I mentioned actual cost before, but we just couldn't demand that premium anymore. And so when we came home, it was a bit of a mess.
Can you describe a bit of a mess?
So we went from, so we shrunk our business down a bit to focus on profitable industries. When we left, we were turning over about 4 million a year, and when we came back, we were turning over 200,000.
So you were successfully shrinking.
So we were very successful in shrinking the business.
So what was that? That was just to fold this thing up and run away, or we're left with 4 million to 200,000. I just went from $500,000 to 200,000, and all of a sudden I'm so far behind the 8 ball.
And we went from a position where we had really good cash flow, lots of money, living a pretty good life, to losing money, having to pour money in. And in business that's not uncommon, like it happens all the time. But we did it off the back of a 4-month holiday where we'd spent significant amounts of money thinking, like, we're doing all right, we can afford this, we're in a motorhome in Europe for a while and got sick of camping in the motorhome, so we parked the motorhome out the front of really nice resorts and stayed in resorts, and life was pretty good, and then came back and it was a mix.
Okay, let's move to today. You say that you've got 2/3 of your people are agricultural based.
About 25%.
That's what I said, 25%, so I'm not listening very good at all. So 25% of your people, but you're now in a totally different space. Would you say this is a totally different space, or would you just say business is business?
It is a different space. While we were away, we did a couple of things. We worked out that we hated what we were doing and it was time to change. So we were coming home to sell the business. There was no question about that. We were coming home. And when we came home, part of what we did to manage such a large and diverse workforce was invest in technology. So we've always spent a lot of money in systems and processes. We could do payroll for a couple of thousand people in a couple of hours. On our sites, everyone was still running around with timesheets and scribbled stuff in panics. We had everyone issued with barcodes and they swiped on and off, and we had portable time and attendance machines and all those sorts of things. And what had happened is, before we left, we kind of launched O-Train, and we launched O-Train on the 4-hour work week. So I don't know if anyone's read the Timothy Ferris book, 4-Hour Work Week.
It's a good read, it's definitely worthwhile looking at.
It's an awesome book, and I've actually had the privilege of meeting Timothy, and he's a great guy. But the whole premise of the book is that you can build a business without being in it, and all you need to do is give people control to make decisions and work out how big a decision you're happy with them to make. So, you might decide, well, I'm happy for someone to spend $100. So, you can do anything in the business you want as long as you don't spend more than $100. So if a client rings up and they're upset, send them a $100 gift voucher, discount the product, do whatever you want to do, don't go over $100. And then over time you get to a point where you say, well, actually my time is worth more than $100, so I'm happy to just make that 1,000 or 3,000, or actually, as long as it's under 10 grand, don't bother me. And obviously you don't just hire someone off the street and say go and spend 10 grand, that's a bit of a process. So we we've launched our online training initiative to do all of our inductions and onboarding. Within about 6 weeks, we had 3 clients see what we were doing and say, hey, we really like that, can we use that? So we rolled that out. And then about 3 months, we had a 4th client ask, and we said, look, there's actually a business here. Like, you know, we're over here peddling all these people, doing it really hard, and then we've got this business over here that's just doing stuff. And about the same time, I knew we were going away. I read the 4-hour work week, so I hired an operations manager out of the US. So O-Train was born global. And we hired a girl, a lady, who had done a lot of HR and a lot of online training. The biggest company she worked for was Dell, so she was head of e-learning for Dell Computers, Michael Dell, based out of Austin, Texas. So we put her in charge, and then ran the 4-hour model. So I'd spend about 2 hours on a Wednesday morning on a conference call with her. What have we done? Where are we going? What do we need? And then throughout the rest of the week, I'd exchange a couple of emails or do whatever. And interestingly, while we were travelling, whilst our labour hire business was falling apart, our training business doubled in size. So the thought all along was that we'd exit the recruitment labour hire, we'd come back and take on and grow and scale the software company or O-Train. And that's sort of where we are now when we came back.
So where are you now? Give us some numbers on O-Train.
Yeah, so we're about, age is a bit hard to decipher because we're not quite sure where and when, but we talked about 2011, 2012 starting. We have around about 60 instances of our software running. So we're, I mentioned before, we're essentially a digital landlord. We provide a software solution that allows people to put training on the internet. We have a creative team that takes their offline training, so we can take this video and turn it into a training course. And then we have a catalogue of content, so stuff that we've created or our clients have created that we can sell. And we have a consulting arm which teaches people how to put training online or how to use things like Facebook to market it and those sorts of things. So we're around about 60 instances of our software running. It varies, day to day. We have about 650 courses hosted inside our software and about 75,000 students. So 75,000 enrolments. So for a bit of context, I said before, USQ has about 23,000 students across 3 campuses. So we're servicing 3 times as many clients as them. Clients include the likes of Hamilton Island Resort, who currently have a cyclone parked overhead, so we're a bit worried about those guys. We do all of the online learning strategy for Epilepsy Foundation of Australia, we do all of the Asthma Foundation of Victoria, we do Master Grocers and Independent Grocers Associations. So we've sort of found a niche in peaking tube bodies, so large scale stuff there. But we also do a lot of employers, so Big Farm in Gatton, Rugby Farms, one of the biggest beef and corn producers in Australia. Never our client when we're in recruitment and labour hire, ironically, are our client with our software services. We just won a large tender with the Food Innovation, which is the peak industry body for horticulture, to put a heap of training online for the vegetable industry sector, so rather than sort of grow a level.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. In about 3 minutes, we're going to go to questions.
Right.
But right here, we've got a lady who in 4 months' time is going to have a total change of life. You can probably pick out why. She's running a business. Can you give her some advice from someone who has done what you've done?
No.
That's fair. Good answer. That's fair. I like that. Okay, then we'll go to questions. Really?
I have a question going back to the working holiday.
Yes.
Okay. You said that you thought that you were developing a business for, I assume, people who want to come to Australia on a working holiday visa.
Correct.
Can you just expand on exactly what the concept was and why it didn't work?
Yeah, so essentially we looked at Seek and thought Seek was a really good idea, but it was too broad. And we thought there was an opportunity in the market to capture the working holiday maker. What's happening, and it's still happening today, this is what makes today tonight, is a 17 or 18 year old Irish boy or Korean girl, arrives in Sydney. They look at a notice board in a hostel somewhere. It says there's work at Chinchilla. They ring the guy up, get the job, then work out where Chinchilla is. Typically, they'll look to then catch the train to Chinchilla because that's what happens in Europe or Asia. No comprehension that it's actually a 3-day journey from Sydney, and it's going to involve 3 modes of transport. And when you get there's no backpacker hostel to stay in. So you're going to have to try and find a pub or a caravan park or maybe a dodgy kind of contract. So our idea was to become kind of this portal that did more than just provide the jobs, but sort of said, hey, here's the jobs that are right for you. So you're not in Sydney looking at banking and investment jobs. Everything on our site is a potential job for you. Someone with no experience, itinerant. They know that this is going to be a short-term role. It's not going to be long-term or permanent. And then when you get a job, you'd be able to pull up the Chinchilla section on the site and you'd be able to find that Greyhound runs to Chinchilla 3 days a week, that there's 2 pubs and a caravan park that you can stay at Chinchilla, and Mrs. Smith's got a bed and breakfast and takes care of backpackers or whatever the case may be.
So you're picking them up after they've arrived in Australia and got their visa. You weren't involved in the visa application or getting...
No.
You weren't involved with if they're today, they would search working visa to Australia.
Yeah, no.
As a starting point for them. So you weren't at that point, you were after they arrived.
No, we were post-arrival. So we did some deals with, which is where we made the little bit of money that we did make, with some inbound tourism guides who were actually attending trade shows.
And what year was this?
So this was 02.
02, okay, so very early days.
Yeah.
And what was the reason why you didn't fail? Couldn't make money.
Didn't make any cash. There was a couple of reasons. One, and first and foremost, we just didn't have a clue what we were doing. Right? We just went, what the hell? It's the interweb. You put stuff on the internet and people throw money at you. We read all the articles. I'm a big fan of the DRW. I know how it works. You just www.makemoneyhere.com, right? We were a bit too early in the process. So the sticker on the wall and the internal grapevine was really how things were being managed at the time. And there wasn't this cultural shift to go to the internet to look at things. I said to someone the other day, I think Atla Vista was still the search engine of choice. So nowadays it sounds kind of crazy. Like, why wouldn't you just have a closed Facebook group and,
Well, the environment is different. Because they've got smartphones now which they can just access things.
So this is the app.
You couldn't do that in 2002.
Correct. So even to access our site, you had to go to an internet cafe. The mobile economy didn't exist. So people had to go, they had to walk past the notice board where all the jobs were to find our website. SEO was still really in its early stages. We didn't know anything about that. We just thought having a domain name would be enough. On-page, off-page SEO. In hindsight, knowing now what I know, I still think we could have made a fortune. That was at a stage where we could have done all the black hat, backlinks. This is a little bit of a technical term, but there was link farms. So there was like literally sites where you could list your website, and then Google or whoever would see your website listed on lots of sites. So that would put you #1 on Google. So it wasn't about content; it was about links, and there was all this crazy stuff you could do, but we just didn't even know you could do that at the time. Did that answer?
Yes, you did. I was more interested in the part whether you helped them get a visa in the first place.
No.
But you were starting from when they arrived and post arrival.
Yeah. So I'm not really good at detail, which is why I do a lot of money. But I'm really not good at government and compliance, which is one of the reasons why we're not a training company. So things like dealing with visas, I didn't want some bureaucrat coming and getting up here because I forgot the ticket box. Same reason in our training. All the training that we do is non-accredited training because I don't want some bureaucrat coming and telling me that my I's not dotted correctly or I've used the wrong size fonts on my PowerPoint deck.
Which is what they do.
Which is absolutely what they do.
Dealing with the college of teachers at the moment, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
So what you're selling is a software program that people buy for X dollars to train their staff in a certain application?
Yeah, it's a little, so we're like a digital landlord, so we're not even selling a training program. What we're selling is this building on the internet. You know, there's a whiteboard, there's a projector, there's a screen, there's tables and chairs. You're just renting my room like this. So you bring your own training. Now, if you want to stand at the front and tell a story, you can. If you want to buy a video, you can. If you want us to create training, you can. We're literally, in the first instance, providing the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure. And in the next instance, we're working to help you create that presence online. So,
can you give us an example of like the company that what training they put on?
Yep. So a couple of examples. So if we look at Hamilton Island Resort, as I mentioned before, so they're doing all internal training. So they have their own training college. So they call it our training room. It's all branded, looks like Hamilton Island. If you're starting work at Hamilton Island, you'll go into our training room. And you'll get Hamilton Island's induction training, you'll get their safe lifting training, you'll get their chemical safety training. There's a lot of asbestos on the island, so you need to do some training on identifying and working with asbestos.
So you're uploading their content into your infrastructure?
They upload their content.
Yeah. But you provide the infrastructure for them to do that?
Correct.
Yeah.
And in that instance, we actually built all the templates. So we built the online system. Now they can just put a video in there, or they can buy a training program, it doesn't matter. But they actually also had us build all their templates. So we actually have some template files, which have all their logos and their structures. So, you know, for things like work instructions, it'll talk about, you know, this is the job, and this is how it fits, and this is the PPE required, and this is the correct way to do it, and, you know, there's some sort of assessment at the end of it. So now whenever there's a new job or a task, rather than starting from scratch, they can just go in and just populate the process out. We also do real estate licensing. So two of our clients, National Real Estate Licensing, you're probably aware of, Real Estate Academy of Australia, are using all of our infrastructure. You know, the epilepsy, they're teaching primarily teachers how to deal with epilepsy in the classroom in an emergency situation. So anything from a general awareness of, you know, this is what epilepsy is, and if someone's having an epileptic episode, these are the sort of things to look for, right through to these are the 5 types of medication that you can apply, these are the ways the medication gets applied. And this is Shane. Shane's a person with epilepsy. Be careful how I say that. Shane's a person with epilepsy. Shane's management plan says that if he has an attack, he needs to get this medication delivered in this dose this way. So really it doesn't matter what the content is.
Do you have any clients that train customers?
Yes.
And do you have a system where the customer can pay for that training?
Yes.
Good answers. And do you have an example that you can share?
Yeah, so we have a company out of, a few examples, but the company that comes to mind is out of Melbourne, who manufacture cleaning chemicals. So it's a company called Agar Industries. So, you know, floor polishers and all that sort of stuff. So they've created training online to show people how to use their chemicals correctly and charge people to do it. Another one is an environmental care company that makes spill kits for chemicals. So again, they provide training. So they're a manufacturer, wholesaler of spill kits. So if you've seen those wheelie bins in industrial situations, and they've got like kitty litter and rags and stuff in it, so that's one of their sort of products, that sort of thing. But they also provide training. They charge a couple $100. It's okay having one of those kits in the back of the workshop, but people actually need to know how to use it. You need to know what to do with the kitty litter. You know, once you've spilled your oil, that's okay. You throw your kitty litter out, that's okay. But then what do you do with it? You know, can you just shove it in the bin, or do you have to send it somewhere? So they sell training. And what our infrastructure does, so we call it the automatic training machine. The ideal situation is where someone finds you on the internet, they have a look at your course, they purchase it with their credit card, they log in and do it, they do some sort of assessment to make sure that it's been done. They get issued with a certificate, and the money just arrives in your account without you ever having to speak to them.
We're out of time, so last question. Where to from here?
We already worked this morning.
That is the perfect way to end this chat. I hope you enjoyed your day at work this morning, and thank you very much for spreading your wisdom here today.